It's a nice, crisp, fresh morning in Cork and heading north up to Northern Ireland. Most people in the United States, the thought of a 6-hour drive is nothing, but to most people in Ireland, they can go their whole lives and never drive 6 hours on the island. Bit of a drive from coast to coast, from the Cork coast to the Causeway coast. Looking forward to the trip. Northern Ireland is perhaps one of the most exciting locations in Ireland for Irish whiskey at the moment. You have a mixture of small, independent, boutique, innovative distilleries mixed with older, established, the old guard of Irish whiskey distilleries as well. Lots of great things happening. I'm about to pack the car, hit the road. We've got lots of exciting events, videos planned for you when we get to Northern Ireland. So let's pack the car and let's hit the road. We're going for a few days or for a month. It's Friday morning and I'm outside the Bushmills Inn in Bushmills in County Antrim and made it up last night. Made good time. The Irish need to know if you made good time. Did you get here on time in the hours you had allotted to your journey? And I can report we did. And so we're here at the Bushmills Inn about to do a little bit of exploring of the Causeway coast with Lauren McMullan from Bushmills. Going to have a little drop of breakfast, spot of breakfast first. But the Bushmills Inn, beautiful spot in the town of Bushmills. It's an old coaching inn dating back to around the time of 1608 when the first license was granted for distilling in the area. This would have been a coaching inn, so those on the way to see the Causeway coast, the Giant's Causeway, would have stopped off here historically before there were trams or more public transport available. In the 1800s, early 1900s, kind of fell into decline, but it's been restored. Today it's a 4-star hotel, beautiful location, a beautiful hotel, and a great bar for a spot of whiskey as well. So time for a bit of breakfast and then we're going exploring. There's a lot to see and do before we hit the distillery later this afternoon, so follow me. So I found myself at a windy location on the north coast, beautiful Causeway coast, and I'm going to take a little stroll. I've got a great guide with me today who's going to introduce me to the sights in the form of Lauren McMullan from Bushmills. Here's Lauren. Lauren, alright, what are we going to do today?
So we're obviously on the beautiful rugged north coast of Ireland, the home of Bushmills Irish whiskey, and what we're going to do today is have a little walk, have a little talk,
lovely,
drink some whiskey and show you one of our beautiful wonders here in Ireland. Let's take a look.
Let's do it. Brilliant.
So we said we were going to bring you to somewhere really special, which is of course the Giant's Causeway, and it is composed of over 40,000 basalt columns. Now there's two stories as to how this wonder of the world came to be. The first one is the legend, and that is the legend of Finn McCool. So he was a giant based here on the Causeway coast of Ireland. He was challenged to a battle, to a fight, by a Scottish giant called I've forgotten his name. And then something.
Perfect, we got our first blooper.
Forgotten his name. Bennon Donner. Will I start that all again? Alright, I'll compose myself here. Now the wind's not going to be my friend. Now Finn McCool, he was challenged to a battle by a Scottish giant, Benandonner. Of course, Scotland is just across the sea from us here. You can actually see it on a really clear day here from the Giant's Causeway. So Finn was challenged to a battle with this Scottish giant, and he was said to have built the stones. He laid the stones down to make his way across to Scotland to challenge this giant. Now, when he got over to Scotland, he saw the size of him, he was terrified, and he ran back, which destroyed all the stones all the way over to here on the north coast. However, the Scottish giant, Benandonner, he came back over to re-challenge Finn, let's just say, and he knocked on his door, which is just over there, Finn's house. We'll show you that later on. He knocked on his door, and Finn's wife, Una, answered the door and said, "Finn's not in, but come on inside and I'll make you a cup of tea." So the Scottish giant Benandonner, he goes into Finn's house, he sits down, he has a cup of tea with Finn's wife, Una. Then he hears a noise from the back of the house, the back of the room, and Una says, "Oh, that's just our child, that's our newborn baby." So Benandonner goes to investigate this baby, and he sees the size of it in the cot. And he's so terrified, because if that's the size of the baby, what size is Finn? And so Benandonner fled all the way back to Scotland, and he was never seen again. However, the baby in the cot was actually Finn McCool himself. He was hiding. So Barry, there's a little legend that on the right day and in the right conditions, if you do a little bit of looking around, some of the rocks have a little present for you. So I'm going to have a little look down here and see if we can find anything. Also, a little piece of advice for anyone coming to the causeway: be careful on the stones, especially when the waves are as big as this. They are very, very slippy. Oh, I think we've got a good one, we've got a good day. What have we found here? What is this? The Atlantic gives back to you. Bottle of Blackbush. Oh. You can edit out the fall at the end there.
Alright, now that Lauren's after pulling a little gift from the rocks out for us, I think it's time for a whiskey on the rocks. What do you think? Loud Blackbush?
I think so too.
Yeah?
Or my all-time go-to. And what a better location to have a whiskey than right on the Giant's Causeway.
Unreal.
Literally the only place you can have a whiskey on the rocks, quite literally. There you go, Barry. Have a little dram.
Lovely. Thank you.
Grab one myself.
Yeah, there you go.
The rain's just come out for us now as well, which is great.
Perfect conditions, yeah.
There we are.
Perfect.
Set our old bottle down there.
Lovely.
Perfect. Cheers, Barry.
Cheers, Sláinte.
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 No better day.
So we have all our whiskies here.
Yeah, we just do the tasting here.
Table and chairs, we should bring them out here.
We'll just camp out here.
Amazing. I mean, no whiskey on the rocks will ever top this.
No. The waves have really put a show on us for us today, I think. Atlantic Ocean.
We're only about 5% into our day, you know, and this is what we're at already. What's going to happen by the time we do the event tonight?
We're already late for the distillery because we spent so much time drinking whiskey on the rocks. Clambering over
Call
these
ahead.
rocks.
Alright folks, we're going to keep moving along the coast. Cheers, Sláinte.
Cheers, Sláinte.
Cheers. Arriving at the distillery, first time.
The OBD.
Here it is.
Mark, go you on through.
I go through
Did you
here.
get that video?
Oh jeez.
I spat in here.
Oh,
I did push it.
Alright, so we're going this time. There we go. Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to
how
see
you doing?
too. I am brilliant.
This is great to be up here.
Fantastic to have you here
I
after a
mean,
long year.
It's been a long time.
You'd have no idea what you got yourself in for. I'm going to take you on next door to us first, and we'll have a wee look at the tasting room. The girls will
Lovely.
then have a wee look to see help set up for tonight
Great.
for us, and then
Perfect.
we'll take you a wee walk around.
Amazing.
And down into the Cooperage and Alistair and Chris will be ready for us.
Amazing. What are we up to?
Alright, let's go. I'm going to take you in now to all our casks are filled with our beautiful spirit. So let's go. Come on, Lauren. In here just gives you a little insight of how we store our barrels. So we have traditional warehouses and we have palletized warehouses on site. So here are palletized at the bottom end, and here we have our racked. This also lets you see a little bit about our angel share and why the different age profiles lose to the atmosphere. So you can see one here that's been in from the beginning, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So the angels are very happy after 20 years where almost half the cask is gone. Also you can see the colour changes as the cask gets older. It gets much richer and darker in colour towards the 20 years. Here we have then some of our barrels to let you have a little smell of the seasonings before. My wonderful apprentice here will,
Chief Noser.
Yes, here we go.
Never done this before.
Never.
This is a port cask.
It is. This is one of our larger butt casks.
Absolutely.
So we have these specially made for us, and then we season them with our own port. The same with our sherry cask. So we have a hogshead, a butt, and a bourbon at the end here. So Lauren, let me know what you think there of our lovely port.
Port cask finishes are one of my absolute favourites. Of course, our classic Bushmills 16 is finished in port, so it's an absolute winner. So this is, what a terrible job to smell inside of it, awful.
It's such a hardship, isn't it?
Gorgeous. So get the nuttiness, a little bit of the kind of dark fruits, red berries in there, absolutely beautiful.
You mentioned seasoning it with your own port.
Yes, we basically select all of the types that we want to season with, so that we get the characters through and keep consistency rather than using different ports. We use the same one every year to make sure the 16-year-old tastes what today the same as it did 16 years ago, 30 years ago. So that's what we want to do, that consistency. It's the same with the sherry casks. We make sure that the same sherry goes in every year. So here we have one of our smaller barrels in the hogshead size. So we do cater for all the different sizes so we can get different flavour profiles through. There's more alcohol content getting at the wood here, so then we'll get much more of the sherry influence coming through than you would have in the larger cask. So you can vary it as you go along.
Where does the seasoning take place?
In Jerez in Spain.
In Spain, in Jerez.
Yeah. So we do different places for the different types of flavour profiles.
Lauren, you're up.
Going again.
You're
Yes, go for it there, Lauren.
The really hard job of smelling inside a barrel.
Only one more to go after this.
I know, I
can take a break
I don't know if I can make it. Like Christmas in a barrel, isn't it?
Just
It's
fig, the raisin,
gorgeous. Fig, raisins, yeah,
it's all in there, and it just really emphasises
plums as well. Oh, absolutely divine. And then
again,
finally,
our bourbon barrels coming from Kentucky, so we're very fortunate in Bushmills that we really have a wonderful team there that we can buy barrels in from. So we've been working with all of these suppliers for many, many years, so we get the best type of barrel that we can get. So these are some of our Kentucky bourbon barrels.
two whiskey capitals of the world, Louisville and Bushmills, and as part of the 400th anniversary celebrations of Bushmills back in 2008, the village itself was actually twinned with Louisville. So two whiskey capitals of the world, essentially, is that, which is great. So a lovely relationship, as Alex said. And oh, this one doesn't want to come out. Oh, there we are. There we go.
The muscles going.
It's crazy how this is it's really sweet and it's really intense, like the vanilla sweetness coming in there as well. You really get the honey as well. And that lovely toasted oak, yeah. Exactly, took the words out of my mouth. Beautiful. Although I have to say, the port is my winner out of the three, for sure.
Good. We also have a little bit of history here on the wall where we have Alistair and Chris, our coopers. So they have been here, the third generation now with Chris here. The grandfather was here as well. And we even have Chris from a 2-year-old apprentice picture holding his hammer ready to come to the distillery in preparation for us. So from here we walk up right, and now we'll get to see our new state-of-the-art filling line. So this was installed in 2019 in provision for our second distillery on site coming on board. So traditionally barrels were hand fed onto the line and we could only fill between 50 and 60 barrels per hour. This is now a fully automated line. The barrels come in cask, come down this conveyor over, and then the conveyor lifts them over onto their belly, rolls them along. They get filled under the 4 heads over there. Every litre of alcohol is recorded. Then over just like a little puffer train, and back up onto pallet and away into our warehouses for storage. We can now fill between 100 and 130 barrels per hour. This is 5-day-a-week operation, and we fill an average between 600 and 800 barrels per day. On this line here we need 2 people, one to fill and one to drive the fork truck. It gives us much more versatility and allows us to use the staff in other places where we need the extra knowledge. So the likes of our disgorging is all very traditional, all hand done. So the boys are there to be able to smell and get those aroma flavour profiles to make sure the character's there right from the minute we bring out the cask. Let's go, see what else we find. So we have 3 bottling lines here at Bushmills, bottling 1, 2 and 3. Bottling 1 and 3 are able to do 150 barrel or casks, sorry, try that again, 150 bottles. I'm too busy usually working with casks a minute, and line 2 is capable of 80 because of the sizes that we put through it. So it runs 5 days a week, 8.5 hours a day, and all product is bottled here. So we're a grain to glass distillery, so it's produced here, it's matured here, and then it's bottled here and shipped off to all over the world. So welcome to the Bushmills Cooperage. And this is Alistair Kane, the legendary Cooper of Bushmills.
How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm here to stand back from you. Not to be just being breathing back there.
This is amazing.
So
How long have you been here in the distillery?
I started on here on some date in February 1976.
Wow. Could you not find the door out, no?
No, that's all. I'm here ever since.
his grandfather was here before him.
that right?
With his son.
There's actually there's somebody's up a picture there on now the old one, and there's a Frank cane on it. Them's all, you know, I only know as far back as my grandfather, but there was ones on it beyond that, like on both sides of the thing too, so I don't know how far it goes.
Wow. Are you busy here?
Oh, what they do, like.
Yeah?
So it is, that's, we left there, that was one there come in yesterday that needed a new end on it. And then this one here was dropped, and there's 7, you can see he's to put 7 staves on here. You know, that's that one there.
Yeah.
So that gives you a wee bit, but it's a case of whenever it's like that there, you have your broken staves all something, so then you get one just to match it.
Yep.
And then you rejoint them all and then build them all and then fill that gap back in.
Right.
You know. And I'm back into the original cruise there. That's it, ready to be rushed now. These here, to keep them in there in the dark, because if you feel them there, you can feel them slightly bit of pliable on them. If they're left in the too dry or too bright because they dry out, you could actually do that and crumble them into nothing, you know. So you always try and keep them in somewhere dark and get them, you know, and just a slightly dampish air on it. Right. This on there is perfect for you know. So whenever you're doing this, you can see the way here, there are parts of the end is sitting away from the crows here. And then there's some of them are tight. This here, you put the rush on, no bother, whenever it's like that. But whenever you come to these ones here, if you try and put on this here, it'll chop it all up in pieces. So that was the first thing I ever done, never come on through the door, I had to make that. So that's been original. Ever since. It's just a piece of one of the hoops. And that's it's used for different things, you know. But if you put a slight twist on it, and then you just pack it in, and if you come in it, but you can just keep slightly twisting it, and it'll just pack in the whole way right round, you know. You just keep right round the whole thing, and you seal it right up like that, and then if you'd put any new staves on, then the joint, see the way that joint there and that joint's sitting slightly more wider than these ones. So if you wanted to do that, get a slightly heavier rush. And then, again, this is one of the usages for this thing here. You actually just flatten it out.
And that's watertight, the rush is...
Once that gets, the whiskey touches that, it just slightly expands. And then it seals the whole thing up. So you can feel the inside over there. Spongy, reedy type of material. If there's a big gap in it, you'd use it the way it is.
Okay.
Another use for it is some of the times part of the cruise or the chain here could break away
I see.
and leave you with a fairly, like a
Big
hole
gap.
that you could nearly get your finger on.
Yeah.
The way you do with that now is you get the rest, bring it up, you just keep till you do like that till you get the actual size. You could actually put a piece on that size and seal it up once it goes in. So once you put that all on like that, then you just get it like that, and then you would pull the stave out, slide that in, and then trim it off and let the thing on.
Okay.
But most of the time it's, you do it like this here, and it would be just the actual skim of the actual rush you need for it. My father, my grandfather's time, the distillery stopped production in the months of July and August every year. So they had local lakes and beside the rivers and stuff, they went and cut all these things.
Yeah.
Then brought them in and dried them out for the start of the following year. But they're from Holland. They're all
Holland.
brought in through Holland.
Okay.
Like. But as I say, that it's still the best way. If you're working with a wax and they're rolling the bar and the bar hits something and the end will shift, well, that breaks the wax seal. Whereas with this here, you just get the hammer up and bang it, push it back into place, and that still seals the whole thing up.
And that's obviously easier than making a new head all the time. Yeah.
It's just, it saves, you could actually, if I got a hard enough knot, let's say that piece there, could actually be shifted nearly an inch. And the whiskey could be run there.
Yeah.
But once you